anchor up before they get started for the day. Those guys are loud. On our way to Wrangell.
It's September 7th today. We spent the night in St. John Harbor.
On Zarembo.
On Zarembo, where they do the conga.
Do you want to talk
Zarembo
about that
Island.
for a second?
Huh?
You want to talk about that for a second? So we got really bored while we were in Craig.
And in the supermarket, they had DVDs for $2.99. And I found this one 2 DVD set for $2.99, and it was the Kong collection. 2 movies. One of them was Kong Island,
and the other was Queen Kong.
The other one was Queen Kong. Kong Island has no Kong and no island.
Both movies are so horribly bad that they're absolutely hilarious.
I know, but Queen Kong is actually not that bad.
You want to say that one more time?
I'm going to say not that bad, but it was really entertaining. It was made at the same time as the, was it 77 or 79 version of King Kong, the remake that was so, hyped up back then. And it's a satire of that movie. And anyway, it takes place in, what was it? I can't remember what it was now.
I can't. We've been saying Zarembo for so long.
We've been saying Zarembo. Anyhow, it takes place in a place called Wango Tango, where they do the conga or something like that. Anyway, Zango Wango, where they do the conga.
Yeah, Zango Wango.
Anyway, so we see Zarembo Island, and Laura started doing this Zarembo where they do the conga.
So, anyway.
So if you find Queen Kong in your discount DVD rack, be sure to buy it, pick it up, because it's
so bad it's horribly
It's so
funny.
bad it's funny, Get yourself a half gallon of Ripple or something.
Big old bowl of popcorn and just sit down and have a gas.
Okay. So leaving that behind, we spent the night in St. John Harbor. St. John has a Forest Service float, but they also have an active logging operation going on, and they were really busy, making a lot of noise.
And I'm glad we didn't go to the float.
Glad we didn't go over to the float.
Really loud.
Although it was recommended. We talked to people in Point Baker, and they said, "Oh yeah, the Forest Service float, tie up there," and but what we wound up doing was anchoring. There's a big anchorage there. Someone had a float home anchored in the middle of the harbor there, which at sundown yesterday they just hooked up to a boat and towed away. Don't know where they went with it, but anyway. So St. John Harbor, pleasant anchorage, plenty of room for lots of anchor, but there is a current ripping through there, so make sure your anchor is set really well.
Really well.
We didn't drag, but there was
well,
like a good 3-knot current going
yeah.
through there at the ebb.
And we were anchored in what, 10 fathoms?
10 fathoms, yeah.
Anyway,
so
logging camp, if you have children, not recommended.
Yeah, loggers,
Loggers.
screaming obscenities at each other.
Loudly. That was fun. I'm glad
They're half a mile away and we could hear them
we
clearly.
Could hear them clear as day. So we're catching the tide this morning.
Yeah, so we left on a rising tide to take advantage of the eastbound current in Sumner Strait. Of course, the wind is blowing dead out of the east. We're going due east. The wind is blowing out of the due east, so we're into a headwind. And because the wind is blowing against the current, there's a wind chop. It's not too bad, really. We're sticking kind of close to the shoreline on the south side of Sumner Strait, so we're not out in the middle, so the wind waves aren't that bad. It's about 20 miles or 22 miles, 20 miles I think, to Wrangell.
And it's a good thing we're getting it tonight.
Yeah, there's one place where it might be a little tricky at Clarence Strait, where Sumner Strait and Clarence Strait come together. We can expect some interesting current effects there, but according to plan, we will arrive there at approximately slack water and not have to deal with too much of it, but you never know.
I just saw a killer whale behind you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So that's our plan. We're headed for Wrangell. Wrangell is reputed to have the best...
camera time here shortly.
What?
I said you're going to lose the camera time here shortly.
Wrangell is reputed to have the best haul-out facilities in Southeast, so we're going to check that out.
I wonder if we can see the killer whales behind you.
Look. Killer whale?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I see him spouting. Oh yeah. There's little fins sticking up. We don't call them killer whales though. We call them orcas. That's something in Washington they call them orcas. Up here they still call them killer whales. Looks like there's more than one.
Yeah, that's the first we've seen of those guys since we've been here. Very cool.
Just cruising along the north coast of Zarembo Island. Zarembo, where they do the conga. And we're approaching the Stikine Strait. Not Clarence Strait. I said Clarence Strait earlier. I meant the Stikine Strait. Let me head here. And we're already experiencing some interesting currents that are spinning us around a little bit. A lot of small fishing boats out here. Typical beautiful southeast Alaska. And a beautiful day to be on the water. Because of the strong currents, our timing's a little off. We're arriving at the junction of Stikine Strait and Sumner Strait with a 2 3/4 knot current coming north out of Stikine Strait, and I think it's about a 0.8 knot current going east out of Sumner Strait, and right where the two straits join is Wrangell Island, and there's a 2.5 to 3 knot current sweeping north out of Stikine Strait that will set us right onto the island if we don't give it a wide berth. So we're having to steer well south of this island to avoid hitting it. We'll see how that goes. But once we get around the point on Wrangell Island, we're going to have
a little bit of a shot going up.
2.5 knots or better pushing us north. We're going to go northeast up to Wrangell, and the current will be behind us. So that should speed us on our way if it doesn't speed us onto the rocks. We shall see.
Let's not hit the rocks, okay?
We shall endeavor to avoid the rocks.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.